Hi guys, I'm here to talk to you today about the fun and controversial topic of religion in schools. There's a lot of questions about what schools can do and what government can do with religion. So I'm just going to give you a brief overview of that today. Most of the laws that we have regarding religion are based on the ideas that we know in the Constitution. And the basic ideas are that you have a freedom of religion. That means you can decide which religion you would like to practice. And the government cannot tell you that you cannot, and they cannot tell you that you have to follow a specific religion. That is your freedom of religion. We also know that the government or government-funded organizations, like schools, cannot endorse or show favoritism towards any one religion. What that means is they can tell you about the religions, they can give you the information, but they cannot say this religion is better, or my religion is the best, or your religion is awful. So they're more than welcome to talk about it and give you information so you are knowledgeable about the religions, but they cannot show or endorse a certain religion. So that's the basic. As part of the Constitution, though, we have the Establishment Clause and the Free Exercise Clause. And these really are where those principles come from, and they really kind of give us an overview of what's allowed in schools. So what does that mean for you as a student? What do we know about religion in schools for you, and what does it mean? You as a student are allowed to practice your faith. You can pray in school. What you can't do, though, is disrupt the learning process. So when there is a time to pray, you are allowed to do that. But you have to initiate that on your own. The school cannot say you must pray, you need to pray now. They cannot do that. But if you choose to do that, that is fine as long as you are not disrupting learning. You can also read your Bible whenever you choose to, or whatever your religious document text may be. But you cannot disrupt the learning process. So the key for you as a student is to know that you are allowed to have your right to your religion as long as it does not disrupt the learning process. Schools, though, cannot show favor towards any one religion. So in social studies, you learn about the different religions. They're a big part of history and where our nation, our world has come from. There's a big history of religion being involved in historical events. So they're allowed to talk to you about those religions and those events, but they cannot say, this religion is better, this religion is awful, this religion is not what I believe in. So they cannot do that, but they're more than welcome to give you that foundation and their basic principles and things such as that. You as a student are allowed to be released early from school if that is part of your religion, to go to a religious training. You're allowed to leave class if it is a specific time of the day and you need to have a ritual prayer. Again, what you have to keep in mind is you have to initiate that on your own, and it does not happen in the classroom and disrupt the learning process. You as a student are allowed to wear religious clothing, religious symbols. Teachers are allowed to wear religious clothing and religious symbols. The only difference is teachers cannot wear clothing that says my religion is awesome, or you should choose my religion, or your religion is the worst. So if a teacher has a shirt that has a Bible verse on it, that is more than acceptable. But underneath it, it cannot say Christianity is the best, your religion is awful. So as long as they are not promoting and saying one is better than the other or showing favor towards a religion, then that clothing or symbolism is fine. So the key really here is to understand that schools are allowed to let you practice your religion as long as you're not disrupting learning. So you can't say, I can't do math today right now, I have to pray. That's disrupting the learning process. You need to initiate it at an appropriate time. You cannot be involved in a ritual prayer that involves singing and dancing while you're in the middle of history lesson, because that is disrupting the learning process. So as long as you initiate it and as long as it's not disrupt learning, you are fine. Schools are allowed to teach you about different religions from a historical perspective, and again, giving you that basic information without promoting one or saying one is better than the other. One other big thing to know is that when there are questions about whether something is not allowed or allowed, we use something called the Lemon Test. And this is a result of the court case known as Lemon versus Kurtzman, and it was in 1971. And as a result of that case, there's basically 3 questions that is asked by the government when a concern is brought to them. So the first question is, does whatever the problem is have a secular purpose? That means, does it have a non-religious purpose? For example, learning about a history or social studies. If it has a non-religious or secular purpose, it's okay. The second question is, does it advance or inhibit religion? So if whatever the concern is it promoting a certain religion, showing favor towards one, or is it downgrading someone else's religion? If it does not, then it is fine. The third question is, does it cause excessive entanglement of the government with religion? So does that kind of violate the separation of church and state? Is the government involved with promoting religion? Is it getting entangled in a certain religion? If it is not, then it is fine. And right now, the Lemon Test is what they use to determine whether it's okay. So the big ideas here are that religion is allowed in schools if you choose to participate on your own and you don't disrupt. And as long as it has an educational purpose, it means non-secular, then there is some leeway for that to be in the schools. There are a lot of laws that look at specific things in the schools, such as prayer at graduation, student clubs, things like that. And you may be learning more about those later, but there's a lot more for you to learn. But that's just an overview. Please let me know if you have any questions. Hopefully you got something out of this today. Thanks.